The most dangerous person in the room is not the one who raises their voice. It is the one who never does. You have met this person. They always smile. They never argue. They agree with everything you say. And yet, something feels wrong. You cannot name it, but it lives in the space between their words, in the pause before they speak, in the way they never quite look you in the eye when they say they are happy for you. Nietzsche called it the mask of goodness, and he warned that behind it lives something far more complex than the kindness it pretends to be. And number 3, that is the one nobody talks about, because it looks so much like kindness that most people never see it for what it truly is. Stay until then. You know this feeling. You share good news with someone, a promotion, a new relationship, a small victory you're proud of, and they respond beautifully. The right words, the right expression, everything a supportive person would say. But you leave the conversation feeling worse than when you entered it, not because they said anything cruel, but because something in their tone made your victory feel smaller. There was a pause before the congratulations, a brightness in their eyes that came just slightly too late, a softness in their voice that somehow felt like distance. And you told yourself you are imagining it because they were so polite, because they said all the right things, because surely someone that kind could not also be someone who resents you. You are not imagining it. And if this has ever happened to you, you are not naive. You have discovered a truth that Nietzsche understood more than a century ago, and it is uncomfortable. Friedrich Nietzsche was not interested in making people comfortable. He was interested in making them honest. And what he observed about politeness, specifically the kind that never cracks, never wavers, never admits to a darker feeling beneath it, is one of the most unsettling ideas in all of modern philosophy. Nietzsche described a psychological condition he called ressentiment, not simple jealousy, not ordinary anger, something older and more corrosive than both. It's what happens when a person cannot express their true feelings openly, because doing so would cost them something: social approval, a relationship, a self-image built on being good, being kind, being the one who never causes problems. So the feeling goes underground. It does not disappear. It transforms. It becomes the perfected smile, the careful word, the politeness that is too consistent to be natural. Modern psychology confirms what Nietzsche described. Suppressed hostility does not dissolve. It redirects. It finds other exits. Here's what's actually happening. When someone feels envy or resentment or the quiet pain of feeling left behind, and they have no safe way to express it, their ego makes a choice. Not a conscious one, but a choice nonetheless. It chooses the performance of generosity over the experience of it. The words become gifts given at no cost. The smile becomes armor. The agreement becomes a way to stay near something they want without ever having to admit they want it. Psychologically, this is called passive concealment. The person is not lying in the usual sense. They believe, on some level, that they are being kind. Because the performance has been running so long, it no longer feels like performance. It just feels like who they are. And here is where Nietzsche's insight cuts deepest. He understood that the person wearing this mask is not free. They are imprisoned by it. Every polite word costs them something they cannot name. Every smile is a debt the heart will eventually collect. It is not about kindness, it's about what their kindness is protecting. Remember what I said about number 3. We are almost there. 1. Politeness can be a form of control. Most people believe politeness is the absence of aggression. Nietzsche believed it could be its most refined form. When someone is always agreeable, always gracious, always careful never to offend, watch what happens the moment you disagree with them. Suddenly, that perfect politeness becomes a wall. Not an argument, not a confrontation,
just a cold, quiet withdrawal. The message is clear, even though nothing is said. Fall in line or lose the warmth. This is not kindness, it is leverage dressed as manners. 2. Chronic agreeableness hides chronic envy. There is a specific type of person who agrees with everything, who praises every decision, who never criticizes and never competes openly. Nietzsche saw through this immediately. He wrote that the person who has buried their ambition does not abandon it, they redirect it. They begin to measure themselves secretly against others, and when someone near them succeeds, the agreement comes fast, too fast, almost rehearsed. The agreement is the cover. Underneath it lives a comparison that never stops running. Modern psychology calls this covert narcissism, the need to feel superior, concealed beneath exaggerated humility. Your success does not threaten a genuinely happy person, but it rearranges everything for someone who has learned to hide what they truly want. 3. The politeness that comes after your good news. And here it is, number 3, the one that almost nobody sees. Pay attention to the gap, not what someone says when you share good news, but the half second before they say it. Genuine happiness for another person arrives quickly. It does not have to be assembled. It does not require a moment to find the right expression. But resentment disguised as warmth needs just a moment to get the mask on straight. Nietzsche described this as the inversion of values. The person who cannot celebrate openly reframes their reaction to feel virtuous. They tell themselves they are being gracious. They believe it. But the half-second gap is the truth arriving before the performance does. Watch for it, not with suspicion, with clarity. 4. They are polite to everyone except the people who know them best. This is one of the clearest patterns Nietzsche's philosophy reveals about human nature. The performance of goodness requires an audience. And with strangers, with acquaintances, with people who offer fresh approval, the polite person is at their warmest. But go home with them, spend real time, see what happens when the audience disappears. The mask loosens, the criticism emerges. The warmth that seemed so natural in public becomes harder to find because true character does not perform, it simply is. Epictetus wrote that you can judge a person's inner life not by how they treat those who can help them, but by how they treat those who cannot. The safest people in your life are the ones who are exactly the same whether anyone is watching or not. 5. Their politeness will cost you your honesty. This is the heaviest consequence of all. When you spend enough time around someone who never breaks the surface of politeness, you begin to mirror them. You stop saying what you actually mean. You start editing yourself. You protect their comfort at the cost of your own honesty. You become smaller in their company, not because they demanded it, because the unspoken rules of their presence demanded it. Nietzsche called this the contagion of weakness, the way a certain kind of passive, performance-driven person gradually reshapes the behavior of those around them without ever raising a voice, making a demand, or crossing a visible line. Stop. Your honesty is not rudeness. Your directness is not aggression. Your truth is not a problem to be managed. Silence is not always peace. Sometimes it's a cage with no visible bars.
There was a person, you may recognize them. They had a close friend, thoughtful, considerate, never once raised their voice. The kind of person others called kind without thinking about it. But this person noticed something. After every conversation, they felt vaguely smaller. Not after one, after all of them. They mentioned a dream they had. The friend smiled and offered practical reasons why it would be difficult. They mentioned a fear. The friend agreed it was probably well-founded. They mentioned a success. The friend paused, then said something supportive that somehow landed like a ceiling rather than a sky. For a long time, this person blamed themselves. Too sensitive, too needy, too much. And then something became clear. The friend was never cruel, but the friend had never once, in all those years, simply said, "You can do this, go." Because a person at war with their own unexpressed life cannot easily celebrate someone else's freely choosing theirs. That was the moment everything changed. Not with anger, not with confrontation, just a quiet decision to stop handing their joy to a person who did not know what to do with it. So what do you actually do with all of this? Here is what I call the clarity of unmasked seeing. 5 principles, not rules, a way of looking more clearly finally, without apology. 1. Watch the gap, not the words. Most people listen to what is said. Start listening to the silence before it is said. The gap between the moment you share something and the moment warmth arrives. That gap tells you everything the words were designed to conceal. Not analysis, presence. 2. Stop making yourself smaller to keep their mask intact. When you find yourself editing your honesty, softening your joy, or apologizing for your growth around a particular person, stop. Nietzsche was clear. The greatest act of self-betrayal is to shrink yourself to protect another person's illusion. Notice where you are doing this, then stop doing it. Not confrontation, indifference. 3. Measure people by who they are alone with you. The warmth that exists only in public is not warmth, it is strategy. What happens in the private, unobserved moments is the truth. Observe it without drama, act on it without guilt. Your silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. 4. Give your joy only to people who can hold it. Not everyone deserves to know your victories, not because they are your enemies, but because some people have not learned to be genuinely glad for someone else. Choose your audience for the things that matter. Not explanation, protection. 5. Let the mask be theirs. Your face is your own. You cannot remove someone else's mask. You cannot heal resentment another person will not name. What you can do is refuse to mirror it. Refuse to perform warmth you do not feel. Refuse to pretend that discomfort is not real. Nietzsche's deepest insight here is that authenticity is not just honesty, it is an act of courage in a world built on performance. Stop justifying, start protecting. But there's one more thing, the lesson beneath all the other lessons. Nietzsche did not ultimately want you to become better at detecting other people's masks. He wanted something harder from you. He wanted you to remove your own. Because here's what is easy to miss. The person who has learned to perform warmth they do not feel learned it somewhere. From a family that punished honesty, from a world that rewarded the smile over the truth, from years of discovering that being real was more costly than being pleasant. Nietzsche's highest form of strength was what he called becoming who you are, not who you were shaped to be, not who other people's discomfort needs you to be, who you actually are, including the parts that are not polite, not simple, not easy. The courage to be direct is rarer than you think, and rarer still, the courage to be direct with genuine warmth, not performance. That is what Nietzsche considered the fullest human life. Not kindness as a mask, honesty as a gift. You are not too sensitive for noticing. You are simply awake in a world that has taught most people to sleep. You are not suspicious for watching. You are discerning, and discernment is not cruelty, it is clarity. You are not the problem in rooms where you feel vaguely smaller after every conversation. You are simply someone whose presence requires more honesty than some people can give. My friends, that is not your failing. That is your nature. Protect it. As Nietzsche might have said, your mission is not to make yourself easier to be around. Your mission is to become fully, unapologetically yourself. And that
That will always disturb those who never dared to try. Remember this, my friends. Politeness without honesty is not virtue. It is a performance that costs the performer and eventually everyone near them. The clarity of unmasked seeing is not about distrust. It is about choosing, clearly and without apology, who truly deserves to be near the parts of you that are real. Watch the gap. Give your joy only to those who can hold it, and let your face remain your own. Authenticity is the only loyalty that cannot be faked. Because one day you will look back on the rooms where you made yourself smaller, and you will understand that your silence was never kindness. It was the first thing you learned to take back. And that is when everything changes. Now, before you leave, think of one person in your life whose politeness has ever made you feel smaller. You don't have to name them out loud, but ask yourself this: have you been giving your joy to someone who does not know how to hold it? Leave your answer in the comments. Just one word if that's all you have, or a story if you are ready, because the people in this community are exactly the kind of people who will understand.